Hi, I'm Suzy Rhodes with Past Masters. Welcome to this week's Questions of the Week. This week, our topic is Analytical Methods I. You can expect this topic to appear on your Series 6 exam, Series 7, Series 65, and Series 66. We will be taking a 10-question topic quiz from within one of our Past Masters Securities courses. Let's check out our learning management system. A stock has a current market price of $80.50. So that's $80.50. Just put a dollar sign in front. And a PE ratio of 10. So that is the price earnings ratio. That means that the company's earnings per share must be what? So earnings per share comes from a company's income statement. So market price, $80.50, is 10 times earnings per share. So at the test, they give you a basic non-programmable calculator, or there is a calculator built into the computer program. It just depends on where you're taking the test. I know you probably know this and can eyeball this. However, I highly suggest that you use your calculator always. So $80.50 price divided by earnings per share, the ratio is 10, gives you the earnings per share of $8.05. So you click the correct answer, what you believe is correct. You click check answer. You know you got it right because you get a green check mark. All of our questions, you can click this show explanation and it gives you the written out explanation. You can click the audio as well.
A stock has a current market price of...
It's me. So I have audio explanations for all of the questions within our securities courses. So earnings per share comes from the income statement. And if you understand what the price earnings ratio is telling you, and you know the company's current market price, you can figure out their earnings per share. Just take the current market price divided by the PE ratio. That is the company's earnings per share. If you knew how many shares were in the hands of the public, you could figure out earnings available for common. All of that income statement items, just from understanding what this information means, which I think is super cool, but I'm kind of a nerd when it comes to this kind of stuff. So this understanding of the information that you find in a stock quote and how it ties into the financial statement of the company, in this case, into the income statement. Which of the following statements is incorrect? Beta only measures non-systematic risk. Beta is used to compare a security or portfolio's volatility compared to the market as a whole. That is true. The higher the standard deviation, the more variability in past returns. That is true. Positive alpha is desirable. That is true. That means that first one, beta only measures non-systematic risk, is incorrect. In fact, beta only measures systematic risk, the risk of the market as a whole. It is standard deviation that measures both systematic and non-systematic risk. Which is the most stringent measurement of liquidity? Debt to equity ratio, current assets ratio, current ratio, or the acid test ratio? So when you think of liquidity, think of cash or easily convertible into cash. So we have the current ratio, which is current assets divided by current liabilities. That's the current ratio. And that is a measurement of liquidity. However, it's not the most stringent measurement. So the correct answer to this question is, it's called the quick ratio or the acid test ratio. What you do for this formula is you take current assets minus inventory, because the company's inventory doesn't always sell as quickly as they'd like it to. That helps me remember the quick ratio. So current assets minus inventory divided by current liabilities gives you the acid test ratio, the quick ratio, the most stringent measurement of a company's liquidity. Which best describes alpha? A measurement of the dispersion from the mean? The rate of return in excess of that predicted by an equilibrium model? I like that. Let's check the other two. The rate of return that is double the S&P 500? No. A measurement of the variability of a stock's rate of return versus the market as a whole? That describes beta. Alpha is the rate of return in excess of that is predicted by an equilibrium model. You want positive alpha. Positive alpha is desirable. Fundamental analysts focus on a company's. Choices include volatility, volume of shares traded, past stock price, or financial information. It is the financial statements, financial information that fundamental analysts, also called qualitative analysts. So I always remember that reading the financials is fun if you're kind of like me and a dork when it comes to investing. So financial statements are fun, and I hope that they're prepared with qualitative. If you were looking at past stock price, volatility, and volume of shares traded, you would be a technical or quantitative analyst. So two major camps: fundamental, financials, and charts and graphs, quantitative or technical. Which of the following statements regarding price-earnings ratios is not correct? Growth stocks have higher PE ratios than blue chips. That is true. That is correct. Growth stocks have low to no earnings and pretty high prices. They're stocks, so that you end up with a high PE ratio. The market price is a high multiple of low to no earnings, or maybe even negative earnings. A PE ratio of 10 means the stock is trading at 10 times its current market price. No, that's not correct. A PE ratio of 10 means that the stock is trading at 10 times its earnings per share. That's what would make that true. But let's check the other two and make sure that they're both true. PE ratios are good for comparison purposes within the same industry. Only. That would be a good word to add there. That is true. So you can't go compare a technology company with a automobile manufacturer. No, they're different types of companies. So PE ratios are good for comparisons within the same industry. Yes. In order to determine a stock's PE ratio, you must know its earnings per share and its current market price. Yes. So not correct, the false statement. A PE ratio of 10 means that the stock is trading at 10 times its current market price. Not true. 10 times its earnings per share. The dividend payout ratio. Choices include: is annual dividends divided by the cost basis? No. Is current market price divided by earnings per share? No, that'd be the PE ratio. Will be lower for blue chips than for growth stocks? No. Measures the proportion of earnings paid to stockholders as dividends? Yes. So how much did they pay out versus how much was available for them to pay out? So earnings available for common, how much of that from the income statement did they pay out to their shareholders? A blue chip company is going to pay out more of their earnings to their shareholders than a growth company would. Remember, growth stocks pay low to no dividends. Company X's PE ratio is 25. Other stocks within the same industry trade at an average PE ratio of 20. So most of the stocks within that industry, their market price is 20 times earnings per share, but company X's is 25 times earnings per share. That means that company X's stock is overpriced. Overpriced. The test loves that. So if most of the stocks were trading at a PE ratio of 20 and this one was trading at 15, then it would be a good buy. It would be underpriced. But since it's higher than the average PE ratio in the industry, it's an overpriced stock. Its market price is 25 times its earnings per share. The quick ratio is also called the acid test ratio. Let's look at our choices. Assets minus shareholders' equity, no. Assets divided by inventory, no. Current assets minus inventory divided by current liabilities, that is the quick ratio. The quick, also called the acid test, the most stringent measurement of a company's liquidity. Which is the correct definition of alpha? The rate of return required to add an asset to an already diversified portfolio? No. The return of the market as a whole? A measure of a stock or portfolio's volatility is related to the S&P 500, that is beta. The return created that is in excess of or less than what is predicted by an equilibrium model. So that is the correct answer. Alpha can be negative, which would not be desirable. Positive alpha is always desirable. That's it for this week's questions of the week. Analytical Methods I. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel if you're new here, and turn your notifications on. If you'd like to check out our Past Masters Securities course offerings or to enroll in any of our programs, there is a link found in this video's description. Keep up the good work. I hope to have you as a student soon. Happy studies.
You got this.